Hey y'all, welcome back to our very bookish channel, and today we are going to be revealing our March secret TBR picks. So currently I am outside Barnes & Noble. It is Tuesday, February 27th, which is the release day of A Fate Inked in Blood, and I am so excited to get my hands on this book. It sounds so good. So I have a copy reserved at the Barnes here, and I'm about to go inside and pick it up. But I thought it would be perfect for me to start filming my March Secret TBR pick video. So the theme for our March Secret pick this month is a librarian or a bookseller recommended read. Now, I'm going to be a Barnes, so I'm going to ask the booksellers if they would like to participate, and hopefully they do. But if they do not, then Jen and I decided that we would be able to pick maybe one of the books that has the recommendation writing, the little recommendation notes at the bottom of it. So we'll see. I'm going to go in here and ask, and if someone will participate, then I will get them on film or get a voice recording of the recommendation. If not, then maybe they will recommend a book to me off camera and off audio. We'll have to see, but I'm hoping that one of them will want to participate. So here we go. You guys, I keep hearing things about Faybound. Another booktuber I follow said it was 5 stars for her, so please let me know what you all think if I should read this. Okay guys, I just left Barnes & Noble and I got the cutest bookseller, her name was Maggie, to recommend a book for me, and she did ask what genres I liked, so she recommended a book that she had read based on the genres I liked. She also is reading a current romance book that she wanted to recommend to you guys because she's loving it and she wanted to talk about it. So I'm going to show you guys the clips of what she recommends and let me know what you think, and you will see my March surprise TBR pick. Alright guys, I'm about to get my book and ask the bookseller for recommendation. Okay guys, we found someone that is going to participate, and I'm very excited. She asked me what kind of genres I like, so that's a good start. And we will see what she says.
This is what I would recommend. It's a romance and it's fantasy, and or it's actually more sci-fi. And it's really good. And it's got a cute little cat thing that is so adorable. The little cat thing.
Yeah. The little cat thing. Oh, that's good because I'm actually trying to get into a little more sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, yes. Cool. I'm excited. Thank you so much.
It's so good. You'll enjoy.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. So this is the romance I would recommend. It's a little bit of an age gap, but not in a weird way. She's like 30 and he's like 45. So they're both adults and her life has fallen apart and she moves somewhere new. And it's just, the best slow burn romance while she learns how to live her adult life on her own for the first time.
And you're currently reading it?
I'm currently reading it and I'm loving it so much. I'm like halfway through and it's so good.
Hey guys, I'm here with my secret pick, and this month, I'm sure Amanda has already explained, we are doing a bookseller recommended or librarian recommended, and I chose to go to the library and get a recommendation from a librarian. They had a section that had librarian recommended books on it. So I decided to choose one from there, and I might as well show the footage now of me going into the library and choosing my book.
Wish I could say I was finally over you, but that's not the truth. Everyone always keep falling in love again. What's wrong with them? I don't understand. Maybe it will pass by. Someone save me before I pass out. I'm too lonely to be done. I'ma drink at this page. Yeah. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain with nobody to hold on to?
Saw I looked at a little more than the librarian recommended section, so I'm going to show you which one that I chose, and the winner is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. I hope I'm saying that right, but it really looks good and everything's falling. It looked really good to me, looked interesting, looked ominous as I'm staring at it into the camera. And there were a lot of things that drew me to this book. I didn't know anything about this book. I don't feel like I've even ever saw this book. And something about the cover drew me in. And then as I read some of what it's about, once again, I'm going to reference the show that I love to watch, Supernatural. And then I was a little disappointed because the recommendation, they didn't have like cards or anything as you saw, but they had these strips of paper. They filled in their name. Their name was Sage. Says, try this book. And it says, I recommended this book because, but it's blank. So that was a little disappointing. I wish they would have said something about the book. And I looked at several and it didn't matter who it was. They didn't fill it out. They just put their name, and maybe they were in a rush. Maybe this book gave them literal no words they can't even say. They just loved it that much that they were speechless. So let's see if I'm going to enjoy this book. But just so you know a little bit about this book, Hemlock Falls isn't like other towns. You won't find it on a map. Your phone won't work here, and the forest outside town might just kill you. And one of the other phrases on here that caught my eye, not all monsters can be slain, and not all nightmares are confined to the dark. And if there was anything about that description that reminded me of Supernatural, it was that. So I'm gonna journey into this book. This isn't something I normally pick, a genre I feel like it is giving both horror and sci-fi fantasy. Let's just see what it ends up being. I'm really excited to try something newish, something I don't normally read. So let's dig in. All right, one of the things I noticed as soon as I opened it up is there is a map of the town Hemlock Falls. I don't know if I'd say town, but I also realized this is a YA book. And I haven't read YA since Ruthless Vows, but I am going to be diving in to the Luminaries, starting with The Nightmare.
Hey guys, hello. Sorry, I'm not quite sure where to look here, but I am going to the store this morning and I have an update for you. I started reading Hunt the Stars yesterday and I'm already like 30% of the way, like probably like a third of the way in, and oh my gosh, this book is so cute. I am enjoying it so much. I've been a little bit intimidated with sci-fi books because I've tried to read some in the past and it's just like, you know, captains talking about their ships and, you know, wormholes and space stuff, and it's just kind of hard for me to get into. But this book has not been like that. This book's been very easy to follow, and I really like the main character, and I really like the love interest. At least I think it's a love interest. There's been absolutely nothing that's happened love-wise so far in the book, but you know, the main female character's thinking like, oh yeah, that guy's cute. His name's Torin. But she's like thinking, like, there's just little scenes where it's like, oh, she's looking at his muscles when he's working out in the gym and that kind of thing, where she thinks he's cute. So there's that, but it's been really cute. Also, like, one of the cutest things, and I know that the bookseller mentioned it when she picked out the book for me, but she mentioned that there was a little cat creature in the book, and I didn't realize what a major role that little character plays. It's called a barbu. I think it's B-A-R-B-U. So a barbu is the name of that animal, and it's kind of a fox mixed with a cat maybe, but it's really cute, and it has just like such a good personality, little spunky, little feisty personality, and she is telekinetic, where she can or he, I'm not sure if it's a boy or girl, but the Barbaru can like give them signals in their brain, like project images in their heads to tell them like he's hungry, or you know, it's time to eat, which is mostly what it communicates, because it's always hungry. But anyways, it's really cute. It's going pretty quickly. It's very easy to read, and I'm just really enjoying it so far. But I'm on my way to the store. I just got to run into Walmart and pick up a few things. Like, I need milk, and my husband wants some orchid potting soil for his orchid. So I'm running to Walmart real quick for that. And I thought I'd bring you with me. I will take a look at the book section at Walmart, but to be honest with you guys, this Walmart that I'm going to, the book section is usually very empty. It's very sad. It has like some of the main, you know, authors and books you would kind of expect to see. Like, it'll have Colleen Hoover and Sarah J. Maas and James Patterson, but it usually doesn't have anything like too specific, and it's usually very empty, but we will see. So let's go. Here is the book section. Like I said, it's usually mostly empty. Got your typical Colleen Hoover, some romance novels, Lucy Score, Lisa Jewell, which I just read one of her books and loved. But I think I'm going to try to borrow more from the library. And then I also always love to look at the Frida McFadden books. I've been seeing a lot more of her books lately, but I always look for ones that I don't own yet, and I can never find the ones that I don't own. I usually just see probably her popular ones, which are the ones that I've already read. Okay, I'm back. Just picked up a few things. I noticed when I was walking to find the orchid potting soil that they had some like hair bands and things on sale, and I don't really need any, but I like to look at the clearance stuff, and I did get a couple of clips to just clip my hair back when I'm doing my makeup and washing my face, and I bought a few hair ties that I wanted to try. Not all hair ties work in my hair. My hair is very silky kind of, and the ties just slide right out, so it's hard to find ties that like will grip into my hair. So I always try all kinds of different ones, and I saw some that I hadn't tried before, so I wanted to grab a couple of those. They were on sale. Found the potting soil. I found some orchid food, which I purchased for my husband. I got my milk. And then, like, I hate going to the store when I'm hungry. And I'm usually not hungry at this time in the morning. But, like, I'm starving right now. And all the food looks so good when you're hungry and you go to the store. So I think I'm gonna run to Panera. There's a Panera like just across the parking lot of this Walmart, so I'm gonna run into Panera. Panera's like one of my favorite places at the moment. And I think I'm gonna get a bagel and maybe do some more reading, because I'm really enjoying Hunt the Stars, and do some more reading. If they have a spot by the fireplace, they have a little fireplace in this Panera, and if there's a spot next to it, I'm gonna grab it because it's kind of chilly. I know later today it's going to be really warm, but it's kind of chilly right now, and I would just like to sit next to the fireplace and eat a bagel and read my book. So I think that's what I'm going to go do.
All right, some thoughts. I am a little over 100 pages in, and I feel like it's not keeping my interest, and I don't know if it's me or I'm not sure. It could be that it's YA. I seem to have a problem when I'm reading from like a teenager's perspective, and I don't know what it is, if it's just a preference, but it's just not getting my interest. So what the story is about, you're seeing the perspective of Winnie. She just turned 16, and she is intent on doing what's called the Hunter Trials. And she wants to become a hunter. She's trying to save her family's reputation. Her father had defected, and this is all information at the beginning of the book, so I wouldn't consider it spoilers. And her father defected to the Dianas. I'm not entirely sure what the Dianas are. It doesn't describe what the Dianas are, and I am a little confused by some of it. And I think that's why, even though this is YA, science fiction fantasy, I feel like I struggle at times with fantasy, depending on which fantasy I'm reading. For some reason, my brain just doesn't retain all of the details, and I feel like there's some details of this that I am missing. I thought that it sounded a little bit like Supernatural, the TV show. And some of it is because she wants to become a hunter, which is like the hunter on Supernatural, where you're hunting basically monsters and things that go bump in the night. And there was a really cool scene when she goes to do the hunter trials and what she encounters in the woods. And that big scene is an impetus for what is happening beyond that. Because something happens, which would be a spoiler, that she has to keep to herself, and people are making assumptions as to what happened with her. And she discovers something, and she's trying to find out what it is, but she has to keep a secret in order to try and find out, if that makes sense. So some of that is interesting. I mean, it's definitely not something I want to DNF. I mean, if it were that bad, I probably would just like hang it up and be like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I do want to see it to the end because I am interested to see what happens with her in the Hunter Trials. She's on to the second phase of it. Of course, there is a boy interest that is helping her train for the Hunter Trials. So there's a teenage romance going on. And I'm very curious what the situation is with her dad defecting. After her dad defected, her family has a 10-year penance where they're not allowed to do something. And that's the part I didn't really understand. I didn't know. I know their reputation is not good right now. It's one of the reasons why she wants to become a hunter. And after what happened in the woods, everyone is looking at her differently, and therefore her family differently, in a positive light. That's the other reason why she wants to keep the secret that she has, is because that was one of her goals. She wanted to keep her family in a good light. I'm curious about the father, and I feel like a lot of times these books always have these absentee fathers, and you don't know what the full story is, and it's absentee for many reasons. Either they died, they left for some reason. Hunger Games, the father was MIA. Fourth Wing, the father had, I think, passed away, and we may not know the whole situation with him, but I don't feel like they even really tell you much about Violet's father in Fourth Wing. And now again, another father that's MIA. I may not update again until the end because this is a relatively short book. I might if something interesting happens and I want to update. Hopefully some turning point happens and I want to change my mind about this book. But so far it's just meh. It's nothing that's like grabbing my interest. It's nothing that is like a page turner for me. So that's how it's going after 100 pages.
Hey guys, okay, so I'm here at Panera. My spot by the fireplace is taken, but I have my bagel here. I got this cinnamon toast crunch bagel. I've never had it before, but I thought it might sound yummy. And I got my coffee, and I have my book. So I want to keep reading and enjoy my bagel, and then I'll probably start doing some editing and catch up on some editing that I need to do for the channel. Hey guys, I had to switch locations because I needed to start editing, and I need a plug for my computer, to like an outlet to plug my computer in, and these booths all have outlets at the bottom. So switching over here to a booth to get some editing done. I did do a little bit of reading, and I'm probably just going to do a little bit more editing and start reading again because it's like a really rainy day right now. It's raining and it's kind of dark and cozy. So working on a little bit of editing here and then back to reading, and I will give you an update once I leave here and get back in my car.
Okay guys, I am back in the car and I did get a little bit of reading done. I stopped at chapter 13. So like a little more than a third away. I only got to read a couple of chapters before I switched my location and then I started editing, so I didn't get too far. And these chapters aren't short. They're not like thriller book chapter short, like 3 or 4 pages, but they're not terribly long either, and they go by so quickly. Like, the writing is really good, I think, and it's really easy to read. So definitely wish I could have got more reading done, but again, I'm on chapter 13 and the book's just clicking along. You're starting to get a little bit more of a friendly relationship development between the female main character and male love interest. In the beginning, I don't think I mentioned this, but they're kind of enemies. The human race and his race used to be at war, and the war's over and everything is settled down, but there's still like animosity between the two groups, so they didn't really like each other from the get-go, kind of standoffish, but they're warming up to each other, so that's always fun to see. And he's been doing some kind of thoughtful, nice things for her, like kind of being a little protective, which I think like we all like the male protective love interest roles, so that's always been fun. And there's also another character that has joined in to the crew on the ship, and this character is a friend that has been talked about but you haven't actually met yet, so I'm really anxious to see her. The female characters that are written in this book are really fun. One of my favorite ones, and this had me cracking up in the very beginning, her name's Anja, and she was like a mechanical engineer, and she was in the military, and she got dishonorably discharged from the military because she punched her commanding officer. And I just thought that was like kind of funny. Like, she's just the feisty kind of like don't take no shit from anybody type person, so that was always fun. And she hasn't played like a big role in the book, but she's mentioned a lot, and she's just working on repairs on the ship. So Yeah, I mean, everything's going good, and hopefully I'll get a lot more read tonight and be able to give you a much more of an update, but we're kind of getting into the point where anything I talk about in the book's going to be spoilery, so if I have to mention spoilers or something, then I will definitely warn you beforehand and try to put some timestamps in the video so you know where to fast forward to if you don't want the spoilers.
All right, quick 200-page update. I actually ended up liking it more than I thought I was going to. And I still haven't gotten information about what happened with Winnie's dad, but there was a scene as she's doing the hunter trials. I just feel much more invested in what she's doing in order to become a hunter. And I just overall get a better feeling reading this. And I have a feeling also that it's going to get even better before I finish it. So the next time I record, it will be final thoughts because I don't have much more to go. And hopefully it ends as well as I think it might. All right, I'll be back.
Hey guys, I have finished Hunt of the Stars by Jessie Mahalik, and I don't know if I have even explained to you guys yet what the synopsis of this book is about. So in this book, you're following Octavia, and she is a human, and she is the captain of a ship called Starlight Shadow, and she is ex-military. She has a dramatic history with the military. She's the female main character. The male main character is Torin, and he is an alien. He's just like a human, but bigger, and they have telekinetic abilities where he can kind of push into people's minds and kind of read their thoughts if he has to, and he can also like move things without touching them. So he has some kind of special alien powers, and he asked her and her crew on her spaceship to help him find a lost object. And the story just goes from there. They don't start out enemies to lovers. They were enemies when there was a war going on. They were fighting each other. Their races were fighting each other, but the war's been over, and these two specifically aren't enemies, but they don't trust each other at all. And especially Octavia, you know, every situation she goes into, she has like escape plans, and her main priority is protecting her people, her crew on her ship, which are very lovely characters, and you kind of grow with this crew and on this journey to find this lost object. And I was so pleasantly surprised with this book. I feel like this is such a well-rounded book. It has a little bit of everything in it. If you are looking to get into some sci-fi, I highly recommend this book. If you're just dipping your toe in like me, I am looking to get into some more sci-fi books this year, and this was a wonderful introduction to sci-fi. I have read a few, well, I tried to read Starbringer by Tracy Wolff, but I had to DNF that book. It just wasn't working well for me. I wasn't really enjoying it, and I wasn't really invested in the characters as much in that book. But so that was a DNF. So that was an attempt at sci-fi that I did last year. But this year, I'm so happy that this was recommended to me. So this book has a little of everything for everybody. I really think like most readers would find some kind of joy out of reading this book. There is sci-fi, obviously, but the sci-fi isn't intimidating. It's very easy to follow, and there's romance. And there's twist in this book, which I was not expecting. I really wasn't expecting twist. You know, when you go into thrillers, you're like expecting the twist and you're looking for it. But in this book, I didn't see some of the twist coming, and I really enjoyed that. There is some fantasy aspects as far as like the special powers that these aliens hold. And it's just all around a really good book. And this is a part of a series. I know there's 3 books out so far. I did see that on Goodreads, and I do plan on continuing the series and getting into the 2nd and 3rd books. So I hope that the books continue to be good for me. Some of the reviews didn't look as promising on the other books, and this is why I don't like to read reviews before I read the book, because I don't want to get discouraged, and I don't want to already in my head think, oh well, the third book's not going to be good, because I really enjoyed this book, and I'm going to continue the series, and I'm going to try to continue with an open mind. And as I read them, of course, I will let you guys know on my channel, you know, if I've read them and what I think. So please let me know if you're interested in picking up this book. I have not heard of it before. I haven't heard people talking about it. I never would have picked this up on my own. So I would strongly encourage you to pick it up, give it a try, and let me know in the comments if you have, if you want to pick it up. And if you've read it, I would love to discuss the book with someone. So keep in touch in the comments and let me know what you think.
Hey guys, I am here with final thoughts on The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. And one thing I wanted to show you guys before I go into it is one of the reasons why I love getting library books, and it makes me want to get them even more. So at the end of this, at the very end, right across from the final page, there's a little post-it note. It's so cute. I think like a younger person wrote this, but it says, "Don't forget to check out book number 2.
Aww, so cute.
And I just think that's the cutest. And yes, it is. I want to say it's a duology. I'm not sure if it's a whole series. I have to look into that. So here we go with final thoughts. I had a hard time getting into this book. I don't know if it was a switch in the genre. I'm not sure if I had it in my head that it's YA science fiction fantasy. I did love Divine Rivals last year, so I'm not entirely sure if that would be it. I just had a hard time getting invested in the story. It did read very YA and teenager, so that could be why I didn't get into it. And then around the 200-page mark, I did feel invested, and I wanted to find out what happened with Winnie's dad. She ends up getting some information and looking into things to find out what really happened. And it made me want to get to the end to see what happened. Now, I wasn't a big fan of the ending either. It doesn't really leave you on a cliffhanger, but you also don't get information. And I think it's because, per the post-it note, you are driven to want to read the second book. But I still didn't really like how the book ended. I would say this book is definitely for a YA crowd, for science fiction fantasy. And how I was going into it, I always say how expectation is going to set you up for how you end up feeling about the book. And that could be it, because when I picked this up, I didn't look too much into it. I don't like knowing too much about the books. I usually read anything that's on the book that talks about it. And then I also read the book jacket or the description on the back. And yes, I also judge a book by its cover and giving me what kind of feeling I'm gonna have about this book. And looking at this cover, it wasn't screaming YA to me. If anything, I thought it was going to be a crossover from horror and maybe science fiction fantasy. And I, of course, said that I love Supernatural, and I thought it's possible it would have similar vibes to Supernatural, the TV show. It kind of does. There are some creatures in here that I feel Dean and Sam would definitely be on the hunt for. There are no similar beings. There was just one, I think. And the changeling has also reared its ugly head again, because they mention a changeling in here. But they mentioned very different monsters in here. And one of the things that I loved in the middle and really caught my interest was when Winnie was doing the hunter trial and she discovers something, and she's trying to get people to listen to her, and she keeps it for a secret for a while. And then she decides she needs to tell people. And I really liked that, but they don't really give you any answers to that. Again, probably trying to get you to read the second book. I haven't decided yet if I want to read the second book. I am curious with what we find out with pieces of information about her father, who had defected to the Dianas at the beginning of the book. You get some information towards the end of the book I still don't completely understand what the Dianas are either, and I think that was another reason why I was having a hard time getting invested in this book. So I think the lesson here is sometimes you do need to read more about the book before you're reading it or choosing it. And making assumptions could end up making you unhappy with a book choice. So those are my thoughts on the secret pick that we had, that a librarian for me, bookseller for Amanda, had gone. I am now ready to read. I think I'm gonna dive back into a psychological thriller just to read something that just makes me want to keep turning pages and I can get lost in again. Next month, we are gonna do a secret book again, and I am super excited about it because we are doing our Goodreads want to read list. We're sorting it so that we can read the highest rated one as well as the lowest rated one, reading both of those, and then reading reviews each of them got on Goodreads and comparing and contrasting. I'm very excited to see what both of us end up with in that secret vlog. Thanks for reading along with us, and until next time.